Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Good Sunday morning to you. Thanks for being with us on this somewhat foggy and groggy Sunday, but it's going to be a great week ahead of us. We've had some warm temperatures yesterday, and the sun may be here to stay. Good morning. It's November 6th. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get right on over to meteorologist Justin Chambers for a look at our forecast. Yesterday, we were really warm yesterday.
Yeah, 80 degrees, 3 degrees off our record high yesterday, Taylor. And today we're going to be pretty close to that number again in the upper 70s, even though it is a little bit cloudy right now. Still some mist out there, but overall really not seeing actual rain, just kind of the overcast conditions. You can actually see on our HD radar that rain is letting up just a little bit. May see a stray shower later this afternoon, but we are expecting that sun to pop back out. Check out our statewide temperatures. Look at these lower 70s already in Denton and Cambridge, even down to Salisbury at 76, 64 in North Beach, and 67 in Annapolis. And we're actually at 70 degrees in Baltimore City. So your yard and gardening cash, probably some wet leaves out there. But later today, those numbers in the upper 70s, some 10 to 15, almost 20 degrees above average for this time of year. We'll keep those 70s going across central Maryland for this afternoon. For Cockeysville, Bel Air, down through Baltimore, even through Annapolis, staying above average. We'll talk about the record-breaking temperatures possible tomorrow. We'll do that in just a little bit.
Off the top this morning, one man is dead following a shooting in northwest Baltimore. Police arrived to the scene this morning just before 9:30, where they found the victim suffering from a gunshot wound. By the time medics arrived, they pronounced that man dead at the scene. Now, 3 men are dead and several are hurt after at least 5 shootings across the city on Saturday. Fatal shootings along Garrison Boulevard and Biddle Street shown here in red. And according to police, it's a deadly month as the uptick in gun violence in Baltimore continues up from October.
It's early in Baltimore's ceasefire weekend, spreading the message of hope and love and the challenge for the city to find peace, at least for a few days. Nobody kill anybody. It does sometimes work. But for another sorrow-filled Saturday, Baltimore didn't rise to that challenge. More lives lost, more families grieving the 3 men who wouldn't survive this weekend. This the scene in the East Biddle neighborhood where bloodshed began just after 4 p.m. A 33-year-old man with apparent gunshot wounds taken to the hospital dies. Overnight, a double shooting takes the life of a man. A woman also shot is now stable.
When you see the same thing happening again and again and again.
For that, it's exasperation from faith leaders like Bishop Angel Nunez, who talked to Fox 45 News late last month about the pain he sees in communities watching seemingly unrelenting violence.
People want to leave. There are those that cannot leave. And so they feel this oppression, they feel this darkness, they feel hopeless.
It's the challenge to keep hope alive and the work for change in the face of a new month that began just 5 days into November with 7 murdered and 5 separate shootings on a single Saturday.
Baltimore's Ceasefire 365 announcing a rebrand. Leaders are removing a gun from the current logo, saying it has a negative connotation. A new logo will be approved in the coming weeks. They're actually looking for some input. They're holding a brainstorming meeting today at 2 o'clock on Facebook Live. Elsewhere in a city in crisis, Baltimore's Squeegee plan back in focus after the mayor's office releases a preliminary plan from the Squeegee Collaborative. The proposal includes guaranteed income for Squeegee kids to stay off of street corners. It also has a code of conduct drafted by Squeegee kids themselves. Another change, Squeegee kids arrested yesterday afternoon for assault and a possession of a loaded gun. This happened around North Avenue near I-83. Maxine Stryker looks at what's been a turbulent week on street corners.
As Baltimore City continues to grapple with the Squeegee Kid crisis, there's news of another incident, the 3rd in the past week. Baltimore police arresting a 19-year-old Squeegee Kid Saturday afternoon along Mount Royal Terrace. A woman told police she was sprayed in the face with an unknown liquid after refusing service from the young man. Police were able to locate him and found he was carrying a loaded handgun. Last Saturday, a Baltimore County couple say they were robbed by a squeegee kid at East Fayette and President Street. And on Tuesday at the intersection of MLK Boulevard, police say a driver reported 3 squeegee kids snatched his phone and cash-apped a large sum of money to themselves. Police spotted the suspects, who ran and broke into a woman's basement on Portland Street.
I was scared. Very scared. I mean, terrified.
This comes as some details were released Thursday about Mayor Brandon Scott's Squeegee Collaborative Plan. We're told squeegee kids will develop a code of conduct in an effort to regulate themselves, and they'll be assigned specific areas. And a guaranteed income program will be made available to young men who do not engage in the activity.
We're going to pay them to get off of the corner. But we got people out here working every day, and we get money funded to the city all the time, but this is what we're going to waste it on.
In Fells Point, business owner Beth Hawk says things seem to be at a tipping point.
I mean, people are so hesitant to come downtown.
She says the ideas coming from the collaborative don't seem fair or sustainable.
So they're going to give guaranteed income to lawlessness, but nothing to the victims. I mean, people's cars have been damaged, people have been physically assaulted, and one innocent man was murdered. It's not right.
And she has a lot of questions about how it will all work.
Are they getting a 1099 after a certain amount? What amount are they getting? How long are they being qualified for this? I mean, where are the designated areas for the squeegee? I mean, this is crazy.
At the Fells Point Fun Festival Saturday, business owner Sasha Tilleman also weighed in with a different perspective and optimism.
I think anything's worth a try. They're out there obviously looking for income, skipping school or whatever because they need the income for their families.
Mayor Brandon Scott is remaining tight-lipped, only saying the full details will be released in the coming days. In Baltimore, Maxine Stryker, Fox 45 News.
Skeptics of the plan are quick to highlight the guaranteed income portion, saying it sends the wrong message to Baltimore's children.
This doesn't seem like a serious solution, and if it works, God, I'll be the first one to admit that it was worth trying this, but we should be treating these kids like they're our own. And none of us as parents would ever turn around if we found our kid learning out that our kid was committing crimes and saying, you know what, we're going to pay you to not commit crimes.
This sends the completely wrong message to those kids that going to school, doing the right thing, obeying your parents, obeying the laws they don't pay. Hard work doesn't pay. Doing the right thing doesn't pay. Doing the wrong thing, disobeying the law, committing crime, that pays. If crime pays in the city of Baltimore, we have a big problem.
The last major economic report before the midterms is out. I'm Atrell Nashar with what it says and a recession warning from across the pond.
Still hanging on to some clouds outside and possibly a few scattered sprinkles, but we've got another warm day ahead. Already at 70 degrees this hour. Breaking down that forecast for you coming up.
This morning, we are seeing stunning images out of Charles County. At least 5 people found dead inside of a home in what police are calling a quadruple murder-suicide. The bodies were discovered in La Plata Friday afternoon. Police say a man killed his ex-girlfriend and 3 others before turning the gun on himself. Neighbors say police have been called to this home several times in the past, and officers are trying to put the facts together.
All of them appear to be adults. Investigators are working through the scene, trying to positively identify the victims and establish a motive.
It's a very sad day for this town.
2 children were believed to be inside the house at the time of the incident. Thankfully, they were both located safely. 1 person dead and another injured following a crash on I-95 near Capitol Beltway. This happened in Prince George's County. Police say a Toyota Camry hit the back of a tractor trailer, which was disabled on the side of the road. This happened yesterday morning. The Toyota driver died at the scene while the tractor-trailer driver refused medical treatment. A second person arrested in connection to the shooting of Commanders running back Brian Robinson. Police say the suspect is only 14 years old. Investigators say Robinson was shot twice during an armed robbery. This happened back in late August. He only missed 4 games before returning to the Commanders in October. At least 38 people hurt following a major fire at a New York apartment building. Firefighters say the blaze may have started from a lithium battery connected to a bike or a scooter. Marshals say close to 200 Manhattan fires have been caused by lithium batteries this year alone.
So we've seen secondary fires, and this isn't really what we've seen traditionally, where fires are slow to develop. We're encountering a fully developed fire when the fire units are arriving here.
A few residents were trapped inside that building when the fire broke out, but thankfully everyone got out and is now accounted for. Your Fox 45 News app has your breaking news coverage, that up-the-minute traffic updates, your school closings, weather, all of that there, and you can have it at your fingertips anytime. Just search WBFF in your app store. A new affordable housing community opening its doors in Baltimore. Who's eligible and why the mayor says it's a long time coming. Many ranked teams are recovering this morning after some hard losses. A quick breakdown of the top college football upsets coming up. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. The U.S. gained more than 260,000 jobs, according to the October jobs report. It welcomes news on Wall Street, and all those 3 major indexes jumped on Friday after a relatively successful week. But unemployment, that rate rose to 3.7% as the Federal Reserve tries to avoid a potential recession. National correspondent Arthur Shar brings us all up to speed.
The red-hot labor market taking a step toward cooling down, unemployment rising slightly in October. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh tells us it's the beginning of a steady slowdown, not a crash landing or recession.
We still have openings in America that we need to fill.
2 open jobs for every unemployed person. That labor shortage is a major driver of inflation as employers compete for talent with higher wages, a cost often passed on to consumers. The October jobs report shows the labor participation rate hasn't changed.
I do think that, we need to do our work too. And when I say our work, I'm talking government as a whole. Investing in job training and workforce development and apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship.
Another official making it clear this week there's more work to be done is Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, forecasting more interest rate hikes in their fight against the highest inflation in 4 decades.
It may take time. It may take resolve. It may take patience. It's likely to get inflation down.
Across the pond, the Bank of England also rolling out aggressive interest rate hikes up against their own labor shortage and inflation even higher than in the U.S. They've been forecasting a UK recession since August. Now their central bank says one could last into the first half of 2024, which would be their longest recession in the past century.
If we don't take action to bring inflation down, it gets worse.
Recession fears lingering here in the U.S., but the Bank of England says the U.S. is in a better position, more shielded from the fallout of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The White House appearing to brush off concerns days before the midterms as polls show the economy is the top concern for voters.
I want to be clear, there are no meetings or anything happening like that in preparing for a recession.
A new CNN poll finds 75% of likely voters think the U.S. is already in one. Souring sentiment they're expected to take to the polls on Tuesday. In Washington, I'm Atrell Nashar reporting.
A person dead and dozens injured following tornadoes tearing through Texas and Oklahoma. The National Weather Service has confirmed 3 tornadoes. Yesterday, residents were able to start cleaning up after the damage of twisters destroyed homes and buildings there. Let's get over to meteorologist Justin Chambers for a look at our forecast. Nothing nearly that bad. That's horrible.
Yeah, definitely. We were tracking that actually, Taylor, on Friday night with that large cold front that's marching its way across the country. And we had all of that cold air slamming into the warm air. That's why we had this severe weather in that part of the U.S. And unfortunately, those twisters did a lot of damage. That's what happens. Kind of a secondary severe weather season for certain areas of our country. Beautiful shot right now. We've got some cloud cover out there looking at our stadiums. Of course, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Luckily, yesterday I was out there, 80-degree temperatures. This was for the Baltimore Station Chili Cook-Off, the 8th annual. They sold out. They had the most people ever and the most chili ever. And by the way, I got to be a judge right there with my fellow veterans who were there helping me judge. And we had 9 different bowls of chili we had to try. Shout out to Mount Hebron High in Howard County. They got the best chili. And then there was a theme for the Harry Potter folks. They had the best theme. Either way, it was a lot of fun out there with a lot of sunshine, too. Now, if you're heading out to Fells Fest today, we are going to see a few off and on showers potentially. We definitely will see temperatures that will be warm, even near record high temperatures. We're really not tracking much more rain. That was really in the overnight and earlier this morning. So right now, our HD radar, just a couple of pop-up showers is about all we'll see. This is our next weather maker, and this is the cold front, that same frontal boundary that caused those issues here over the last couple of days in the central U.S. And we're going to see that move in here ahead of the cold front. We're still going to be warm today and tomorrow. So we're already in the lower 70s in Owings Mills. We're going to be in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees this afternoon. And we do expect to see a little bit more sunshine throughout the day. Even into the 5 o'clock hour, we're talking about lower 70s. And remember, the sun goes down at 5 p.m. because now we're on standard time, or back to standard time. Average high this time of year is 61. So we are nowhere near those numbers. Mid to upper 70s across Carroll and Baltimore counties for the afternoon. Also for you in Howard and Anne Arundel counties, those mid to upper 70s here for Ellicott City and Elkridge, over through Glen Burnie and Pasadena. 73 in Annapolis, your high this afternoon. Check it out, too. I mean, really can't escape these numbers. We're talking close to 80 in Philly and Baltimore, down through D.C., 68 down the ocean in Ocean City, and lower 80s in Richmond today. So here's what's going on with our future scan. Again, we'll keep the clouds around today. A little bit of the southerly wind is going to keep those temperatures warm. Tomorrow morning, we'll still see the warm air that'll be here before that front passes through tomorrow afternoon. afternoon, and then behind that front is when those temperatures get a lot closer to November averages. So here's that 7-day forecast. Upper 70s today and tomorrow. The record for tomorrow is 77, so pretty sure we're going to tie or possibly break that number. And then by the time we get into Election Day Tuesday, those numbers come down significantly back into the lower 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Back to you.
On a 2-1, Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Vierling's back. This game is turned upside down.
I mean, talk about a win. The World Series 2022 title. It belongs to the Houston Astros. Game 6 ended with the Astros over the Phillies 4-1. Jeremy Pena named MVP of the game. This is the second title in 6 years for the Astros, despite not being far removed from this cheating scandal. Now to college football, where we saw a lot of upsets yesterday. Number 4, University of Georgia took the win over number 1, University of Tennessee in Athens. The final score there, 27-13. Then number 10, Louisiana State University snagged the victory over the number 6 ranked University of Alabama. That game went into overtime, ended 32-31 LSU. University of Notre Dame ranked this season, and they had a 5-3 record before defeating number 4 Clemson. That final score there, 35-14. And another upset closer to home, though. It's a tough day to be a Terp. Wisconsin, with a 4-4 record, took the win yesterday over Maryland with a final score of 23-10. The good news is, though, Maryland went into yesterday's game already bowl eligible, so that means they already got 6 wins under their belt. Fun fact, Wisconsin interim head coach Jen Leonard played for the Ravens back in 2008. The Terps are on the road again next week, this time at State College, where they'll take on Penn State. A little closer to home, though, Morgan State University lost to Stony Brook by 2. Bowie State beating Lincoln 41-24, which is a nice result for them on their senior day at Bowie. Johns Hopkins winning big against Dickinson, and Stevenson on their senior day shut out Wilkes 28-0. All right, Mayor Brandon Scott taking part in a new accessible housing initiative. Sojourner Place at Oliver held that grand opening Saturday. It's designed to be an affordable housing complex for folks transitioning out of homelessness. It's located on Preston Street in East Baltimore, and any Baltimorean who makes less than 50% of the area median income is eligible.
Sojourner Place at Oliver is about reversing what you heard Kevin talk about. Years of inequity, years of redlining, years of what we call purposeful disinvestment into poor and black neighborhoods. Instead, creating high-quality housing that will first and foremost benefit the physical, environmental, social, and financial health of low-income people and people experiencing homelessness in Baltimore.
The community also has a fitness center and a computer lab. It was built in partnership with Healthcare for the Homeless. We're looking at another day with above average temperatures here in Baltimore. I don't know, do you like it? I kind of love it. Is fall going to stick around? Meteorologist Justin Chambers will let us know if this holds up into your work week. He's got his exclusive 10-day forecast coming up. All right, we can't let you go until you know that it's National Nachos Day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. The snack's origin supposedly dates to 1943. Credit due to an employee of a restaurant in Mexico. His name is Ignacio Nacho Anaya. That is who we have to thank for this deliciousness right here. That's 80 years ago. One night after the kitchen staff left, he served his creation to a group of Army wives who stopped by. And it was such a hit that the customers named the snack Nachos Special.
Well, Ignacio, he got that word out fast, and the rest is pretty much history. What a better way to celebrate than with an NFL Sunday, a warm thing of nachos, and a warm day outside.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Temperatures well above average today again. By the way, Fells Fest continues, so we can go to Nacho Mama's. Strongly recommend that if you haven't for nachos. Of course, we have the Commanders right here at 1 o'clock on Fox 45. And if you're heading down to the game, it's going to be warm down there at Landover, Maryland at FedEx Field. Upper 70s today and tomorrow. Now, tomorrow the record high is 77. Today's record is 80. We hit 80 yesterday, so we're close to the record for this afternoon as well. But then look at those numbers on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to wake up in the 40s and be down in the lower 60s for our highs. That includes on Election Day. But we're warming right back up as we head toward Veterans Day weekend. And it's going to be wet next Friday and Saturday. More rain on the way. And then look at those numbers on the right side of your screen, guys. We're talking 50s are coming back.
Next
so there you
Tuesday
go.
Looks not so pretty.
Tuesday, it's not bad. It's not going to be bad, but yeah.
I don't know whether to bask in the sun or be concerned about these record highs.
Yeah, well, it's warm either way. Be careful.
Enjoy your Sunday.
Have a good one.